Skara Sommarland is a modest family theme park situated in Skara, Sweden, about an hour and a half from Gothenburg and 4 hours from Stockholm. They opened the doors in 1984 with just a set of go-karts and water slides, and have steadily grown throughout the years, now operating the biggest water park in Scandinavia, their own campsite with cabins right next door, and currently 3 roller coasters, including the ride that I think really made this park famous, Tranen, the world's only S&S free fly coaster. That was the very reason that I made a trip up to Skara Sommarland for my first ever time in 2024. I was very curious to experience this ride. I actually published a full separate review just about Tranen already up on this channel. Please go give that video a watch if you want to hear about this very bizarre ride. But in this video, I want to focus on my experience at the rest of the park, because frankly, I didn't know much going in. I knew that they were owned and operated by the same company that runs Grønland and Kolmarden, but where those parks have gained in popularity, it seemed like Skara Sommarland never quite got there. The most current number that I could find for attendance put them at around 300,000 guests per year, and it seems like most of that is for the water park. Because of timing, I was only able to spend a half day at Skara Sommarland, which actually meant I had to completely bypass the water park. And I realize that kind of sucks not being able to talk about it in this video, but if anything, it means that I have a reason to go back one day. I'm going to focus on just the dry park, which is still home to a decent collection of family rides, but definitely light on the thrills. Back in 1988, they opened up their largest thrill coaster, which unfortunately is not operating today. It was an old Intamin stand-up coaster simply named Stand-Up that only lasted for 6 years before being relocated to Montreal, Canada at La Ronde, where it was known as Cobra. I did not get to ride it there because it was closed during my visit and was shortly thereafter dismantled, so unfortunately completely missed this one. As of today, their largest thrill ride is called Snake. It began its life at Grønland, where it operated there for 1 season as an interim thrill ride, and then made its way over to Skara Sommarland, where it has stayed put. To me, that seems like their gateway for thrill rides, because inherently, Skara Sommarland has a family audience. Most of their attractions are very kid-friendly, but I think Snake proved that there was still a market for thrills. This had the longest line that I saw that day. Now, that could be because of its limited capacity, but from what I gathered, people were enjoying the attraction, so maybe we'll see something else one day. But at the moment, it seems like Parks and Resorts Scandinavia is kind of using Skara Sommarland as their dumping ground, like a place that they're just upkeeping but not necessarily investing in. And if their attendance isn't high, then frankly, I understand it. As of now, their most recent roller coaster opened in 2011, so well over a decade ago. That was their Mauer spinning coaster known as Spinner, and unfortunately, it was a relocation. First operating at Karls in Germany for 9 years. That does not mean, however, that they've gone without recent additions. Actually, just earlier this year, in 2025, they received a big upgrade to their dry park. Most of their family flat rides are on the left-hand side of the park in this Tivoli section, which generally lacked cohesion. For 2025, however, they added 3 new rides that kind of gave it a circus theme, which is about the most theming that we've seen at Skara Sommarland. So, therefore, it is a step in the right direction, and all in all was around a $1 million investment, which for a theme park might not seem like a lot, but considering with that they were able to get a mini Ferris wheel, an SBF Visa top dance, and a drop and twist, that seems like pretty good bang for your buck, and I can at least appreciate that they didn't just plop them down. The drop tower in particular comes with a funhouse queue with various effects and even hand-painted artwork inside, which is a very nice, simple way to convert an otherwise basic attraction into something more interesting. And as I was walking around Skara Sommarland, I remember thinking, this park just needs more rides, period. It's a decent-sized park with the amount of land that they operate on, but a lot of it is taken up by leisurely space, which, don't get me wrong, is very nice and can create a calming atmosphere. But I think there's also a fine line in feeling like there's not enough to do. And Skara Sommarland definitely had some areas that felt a little lacking. And I think that was kind of my final conclusion with the park is, there's a lot of potential with this place. Given the right investment, I think you could do a lot here. They have a very nice beach town style main street. The massive Viking ship on the water was a nice touch. And I love all the carp that are out that you can even feed. That's so fun. I think all the walking paths with the nice lakes and bridges is very scenic. But then you get to like the front entrance, which just is underwhelming. Not a great first impression in my opinion. I get that go-karts are popular here, but I don't know, not the prettiest to look at. So it's definitely a give and take. Some of the attractions that stood out to me, there's a train that circles the park, gave a very relaxing ride. While we were on it, we could look out and watch people water skiing, which I was completely floored about that you can actually do that in a theme park. As someone from the United States, you never see that, ever. And maybe the craziest part, it's free with admission. Low capacity, so they'll probably have to wait for it. I imagine they're doing probably like less than 100 people per day on that. But what a cool opportunity. Besides the spinning coaster in Trannon, their last coaster is actually their oldest. It's from Mock Rides. It's one of their powered coasters. Unfortunately, this was closed when I went, so I will have to come back for it another time. Skara Sommarland also operates a small log flume, some airboats, bumper cars, a swinging ship, and plenty of playground equipment for the kids. I enjoyed taking my time at Skara Sommarland. We were only here for a half day, which we had no problem accomplishing what we wanted. If we were to do a full day, definitely that's when you incorporate the water park for part of your time. But I liked the leisurely pathways, the nice tall trees. We sat down at this Hawaiian-themed restaurant out on the water. Nice boardwalk patio, you can enjoy the views. I think it's solid for what it is. I just couldn't help but feel a little bad for the place, because as we were walking around, there just weren't a lot of people there. Again, I definitely got the vibe that most people who were visiting just went straight to the water park. So there wasn't much left for the dry park. Which brings me to, do I recommend Skara Sommarland? You know, if you're someone like me that travels for theme parks, this isn't going to be one that's at the top of your list. This was actually my third visit to Sweden. And that was finally when I made my first visit here, because the first 2 times I just bypassed this place. But I think most of their appeal is to a local audience. And I could see this as a nice place to spend some time during the summer. I think in order to really get me to want to come back though, they gotta consider investing in another roller coaster. The same company has recently added Monster at Groenland, Wildfire at Kolmarden. Not saying you have to go as big here, but even a more modest, family-friendly coaster from like Vekoma, I think would do wonders here. But I want to hear from you guys down in the comments below. Have you been to Skara Sommarland? What was your experience? Do you agree with the points that I brought up? And make sure to stay tuned for more park reviews here at Coaster Studios, and I'll see you next time.